Hey, Ursula here. You might have thought we were done for the year with the garden, but we're not. There's still more to be done. There's always more to be done. But today is a nice day and we'll do a little bit of it. As you can see, this used to be my carrots. And I've decided to just start throwing leaves in there. The leaves are not from the yard. They're actually from the berm. They aren't my leaves, they're leaves from all over the neighborhood have blown in on various storms. So I rake those and put them in here. You can see there's still plenty of leaves on the ground. Mostly I like the leaves on the ground so that the fireflies, I love seeing fireflies in June, don't you? So I want them to have habitat, and apparently they need the leaves, and they need the mulberry tree, although it's going to get a haircut. That'll be another project. Wanted to show you because it was nice and warm and we had a really good rain. These are my cabbages and they didn't form heads yet. So I don't know if I'll get a harvest of these guys or not. I have two Napa cabbages and one regular cabbage in here, and I have another regular cabbage in a pot on the front porch that I can bring in and out. That one is actually starting to head. These, I don't know. This is shady at this point. The house casts shadow, and so at this point in time in the year, not too much sunlight gets back here. Comfrey has taken over my strawberry bed, so I don't know what we're going to do with this, other than things are going to get shrunk a little bit because I'm putting this wall in here. I've been working on it. Cinder blocks are heavy, you know that? Especially if they have dirt in them. So this one's going to get moved. It's just not the right size, but you can see I've been taking yard debris and just kind of packing it down here. And then what's going to happen is once I get this filled in a bit, I'm going to put cardboard down. That'll be probably a spring project. And I'm going to put a metal raised bed in here. And we'll see what I can grow. I have some ideas about what I want to do for fencing for the deer, but I haven't totally worked it out yet. I still have to get back at scalping the cleavers and the pokeberries back there, and they'll get dumped in here probably underneath a bunch of cardboard. And then I've got some ideas for potato beds that I can put in the way back, because the deer don't seem to bother our potatoes at all. So that's good. Let's hope that doesn't change. This whole area here, all those little plants are cleavers. So that's going to get scalped. More fill is going to go in here. I need to build a stairway up this hill and then put a block garden in on the other side there. Right now I'm still working on pallets to keep the neighbor's dog from coming through. I've got a couple more. I want to take this out and put some pallets in here. This is under shade, so it's not like I need a trellis. Originally I had grown peas here, but that was before the black cherry got so big. So this is what we've got going on. I still haven't gotten at my walnut dye bath, but let me show you some I did get at. Yeah, I have to dye yarn even in the winter. These were done in a double boiler on the kitchen stove last night. We were experimenting with some colors and it turned out really nice on the superwash, and it didn't quite turn out the way we'd hoped on the heather yarn. Jaggerspun went out of business, so whatever I've got in white or natural has got to get hand dyed to the colors I want to use, because can't get any more of this stuff. All right, so another project I worked on, we're going to break again. I had a huge compost pile behind my peach tree here, and I took that down. And some of the stuff that didn't decompose, I left my gloves outside. A lot of that, the sticks and twigs that didn't decompose ended up here on top of the comfrey, and that's not going to hurt anything. The actual compost from this that was at the bottom, some of it I might still harvest come spring. You can see there's quite a lot of nice, really nice dirt there. And there were a lot of worms in there too. So we'll head over to the herb spiral. And a lot of it ended up in here. So I'm working on rebuilding this again. The deer were coming through here. I put a fence across there to kind of protect that edge, but I need to continue it. There's a missing panel right now. But that's helped. My daughter actually saw them destroy this here. They just stand on anything and then it collapses and they don't care. They just jump. So I'm working on rebuilding this and then fencing it off. But I've shored up quite a bit of it. We started at the top and restacked some of the bricks. And then I worked on this edge here. The bush here, I think this is a juniper. It needs to be trimmed. I actually toyed with the idea of making a wreath, and that could still happen, but there's a lot going on. My daughter got into a show called Handmade Arcade, which is fantastic. So she's prepping for that, and I don't have an extra helper in the house right now. So there's that. Let's take a look at the front porch. So this is the cabbage I've got. There's a snapdragon behind it in another pot. And there is alyssum here in this pot. Got one more cabbage over here. It was in a tiny pot for way too long. Those guys are all dead. This will come back in spring. Right now what you're seeing is just plantain, but it's actually a currant bush. It's been in there many winters already. It really needs to go in the ground. This is a grapevine I picked up and never got into the ground. We'll see if it survives. If it doesn't matter. I still want to put grapes in. It doesn't have to be this variety, but that's part of working on the back. Then while I was at it, it's really bright today. All right, it turns out the deer were here and they've been munching. This is a pomegranate and it does have thorns, but they've been eating the leaves. So we put a bigger cage around it because it was actually growing through the wire and getting all tangled. So we had to cut the wire away and put a new one in here, and we restaked it. The stake is just to keep it wants to grow down the hill. It's just to help pull it upright. So we'll tie that once spring comes around. So I was out at the farm, and the farmer offered me her wood chips that her spring chicks had been in a hoop house. And so I've been bringing wood chips that are rich in chicken manure home, and this has been amazing. It doesn't have the smell like you'd think, but I put it on all our trees, and the really struggling currant bushes, we'll see if they come back. While we're over here, I'm going to show you what the deer did. I had a pumpkin. I had 2 pumpkins for Halloween that we carved up jack-o'-lanterns, and the deer ate it and dumped it in the bushes. The other one's kicking around here somewhere too. There's bits of pumpkin everywhere they came through. So that happened. Take a look at the fig tree. Well, these are the currant bushes, and I weeded a whole bunch of creeping Charlie out of here and then just covered it in the chicken mulch. Slowly getting at chopping the tree. That's a slow process. Discovered a lot of dill in here. We've been able to harvest some fresh dill yet. And the peas finally decided to grow. I was supposed to harvest these in September. They didn't show up until November. That happens. This is a fig tree. We did get 2 figs that were actually ripe. The rest of them froze on the branches here. And you know, as soon as it got below 32, the leaves fell. So they're underneath all of this. But I'm hoping that the chicken manure provides a nice steep mulch. And it looks like I see hoof prints through here. Might not be able to tell from there, but I think across the front there, I think a deer came through. So that's what we're going with this week, and it'll be slow progress, but I'll keep updating periodically. Take care, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.